I stopped a century-long prank in my family gatherings, but brother-in-law does not take to this very well and ends up going full Hulk. For as long as I can remember, in my family, almost any time I got up from my seat, someone would take it as funny or claim it as if no one was using it. And as a teenager, I bought my folding chair so I could pick it up and carry it with me. If I left it where it was, someone would take it. Then, I got mad when I wanted it back. For example, on a holiday last year, I got up from my chair for a moment to help with something and came back to find a kid in it. And then the family scolded me for wanting them to move. But I tell them that when a man owns and brings his chair, they expect to be able to use it. I own a very nice folding chair that's comfortable and easily portable. And I pretty much bring it to any family events because people are always scrambling for chairs. Well, the other day I went to a birthday party for my nephew. And like always, I brought my chair. But at some point, I had to use the bathroom. When I came back, my chair was gone. And everyone acted like they didn't know where it was. I said they had 1 minute to return it, or I was leaving. They laughed at first but then realized I was serious as I went for the door. Everybody told me to calm down. And it was just a joke. I said I don't care if they think I'm a stick in the mud. I wouldn't be bringing my chair all the time if other people weren't always taking my seat when I got up. I don't think it's funny. I never did. My brother-in-law then pulled the chair out of where he'd hidden it, and when I got it back, one of the legs was bent. I said it was not like this before, and how could he possibly have done this to a metal chair? He said he could fix it and tried to unbend it, but it only worsened. The chair is pretty much unusable now because the leg is warped, and I don't want to risk putting weight on it. I told my brother-in-law he owed me $50 for the chair because that's what I paid for it 2 years ago. He got mad and kept saying it was just a stupid chair. I said it was my stupid chair, and this wouldn't have happened if he wasn't so immature that he and everyone else had to mess with me for years about where I sat. Then I took my now messed up chair and walked out. My family has been blowing my phone up, saying that it's just a chair and to let it go, but I still want my brother to pay me back for it. Update: last night, I sent a mass text out to my family that I will not be going to any family function, no matter how important it is, until they make this right by promising not to screw with me anymore and repay me for the chair. They've mostly gone quiet now, but I can wait. I've got all the time in the world for them to realize I'm serious. My brother-in-law agreed to pay for a new chair and gave me the requested money. I bought a better folding chair than my last one and resumed attending family functions. But there was this air about some family members whenever I was there. They looked at me like I'd sucked all the fun out of the room. My parents had stopped thinking the chair thing was funny and even scolded a kid for taking my seat when I got up to use the bathroom. The only problem is that this kid was my nephew, and he started crying when they made him get up. My brother-in-law came to the boys' rescue, and my nephew blurted out that his daddy told him he could do it. There was a big fight about it when I was out of the bathroom. Several family members, including my sister and brother-in-law, were all yelling that it was just a damn chair, and I shouldn't be so butthurt about it. My parents demanded to know why they were so butthurt about not being allowed to screw with me anymore. What was their motivation after doing it for so long? It made no sense and wasn't funny anymore. And that's when I intervened. I told them none of this would have ever happened if they hadn't been so intent on messing with me when there was no point to it. I only started bringing my chair because I could never find a stable place to sit. And if they still thought they were right about the situation, they were just bullies, plain and simple. What kind of example is that to be setting for their son? My brother-in-law raged, grabbed my new chair, and hurled it through the living room bay window. There was a bit of a pause before he realized what he'd just done, and then he took off in his car and left my sister and nephew there. My parents got my sister to call him, and over the phone, they threatened to go to the police if he didn't pay for the damages. Brother-in-law yelled a few F-bombs until my sister took the phone back, and she said that he could either make things right or she'd divorce him. That did the trick because he returned looking like a kicked puppy with his head hanging low. He apologized to my parents and me without looking at us, said he'd pay for the new bay window and left again. My sister said he drank himself to sleep that night. My new chair was just fine. It took being hurled through a bay window like a champ. There was hardly a scratch on it. My brother hired a window company to come and replace the window. The family was still divided about the situation for a while. Mainly brother-in-law's parents, my uncle, and a couple of cousins. They blamed me and called me obnoxious over insisting on bringing my chair and refusing to let anyone else use it. So, I compromised. I said that if I had a good designated seat that no one will try to take away, I'd leave my chair in my car. It took 2 more family barbecues before they finally agreed to this. Since then, I've left the chair in my car without enough seating. And that's only happened once since. The problem is, though, that even though they stopped screwing with me, they were still screwing with each other until things went too far. They still like to take each other's seats, but I guess others followed my example because they put their feet down and demanded that it stop. It's been going on for decades, and they've had enough.